Kiburi, because it's money for Arsenal.
Facing challenges, that's what we do.
Kiburi ya kwa prefect kwa site mnatoanga wapi? That mnafurahia tu mkionekana watu wana despise.
We'll move from the paper compliance to the project compliance. Kwa ground.
And as Synergetic, we're expecting Anthony.
Yes.
Hello, hey everyone, welcome to yet another episode of the Pipeline Podcast. And in this episode we've lined a very interesting guest in a very interesting career in the construction industry. Today we are speaking matters health, safety and environment. We are privileged to have with us a HSC officer. Hoping that you'll enjoy this episode. Karibuni sana. Bwana Anthony, karibu sana.
Asante.
Karibu sana. Welcome to our podcast. Maybe you could just start by telling us a bit more about yourself, what you do. Yeah, if you don't mind.
All right. Thank you for having me. So my name is Anthony Ndung'u, a health and safety manager with Synergetic, and I've been doing this for the last 5 years. So basically, just to put it, just to explain it, my work is just to make sure that the workforce and stakeholders are safe, and whatever we are doing does not endanger their health, safety, or even the environment and our neighbors. So basically, that's what I do.
Interesting. So it's not just their own safety as individuals, it's also the safety of the environment around them.
Yes. So not just for our team, but also for our stakeholders. This includes our visitors. This includes our suppliers, our clients,
The vendors.
and the vendors, and just to make sure that our projects are not negatively affecting the environment. Yes.
Wow, interesting. So just to take you a bit back, how did you get yourself in HSC? Was it something you'd always dreamed of doing? You know, when you're being asked what you do want to be when you grow up, I don't think there's anyone I ever had who said, I want to be a HSC officer. But how was the journey for you? How did you end up in HSC?
True. To put it on record, I am a mechanical engineer. So when I was growing up, I wanted to be an engineer. And I did. But in campus, we had one unit called Risk Management and Safety Engineering. That was my first encounter with safety. So I fell in love with that concept, you know. And right after campus, I was very lucky to do my internship and graduate training in a multinational. And they were very keen on health and safety. So that deepened my passion now. And I started looking for means of, let me say, transitioning from being a mechanical engineer to health and safety. Yes. So I went back to school to pursue a master's degree in occupational safety and health. And that's how I began that journey of transitioning from being an engineer to a health and safety officer. And here I am.
Wow. And did that background in engineering, how has it in any way helped your HSC journey? Has it been advantageous in any way, or how has it been?
Yes, very, because in projects, it's all about engineering. The backbone of projects is engineering. So having come from an engineering background, I have a better understanding of the project scope. So I'm able to come up with mitigation measures or risk management systems that are relevant to the projects. Yes, and also, you know, safety, it's not only on the project execution. Safety starts from the design, at the design stage. Okay, So with an engineering background, I can be able to view or to review a drawing, and I can be able to give my input to the design engineers, and I can be able to visualize how the project, how it will be, you know, during execution. So I can be able to come up with those measures as well, and I can be able to advise and support now my project officers.
Yeah, true. Because I'm trying to imagine it's actually easier to, or rather, when maybe you're looking at precautions when using something as simple as a grinder. It's easier when you're an engineer who understands how a grinder works or what a grinder is, to come up with the safety guidelines for that, compared to if you're someone who did, say, BCom, for example, and you're a safety officer. Having that engineering background helps a lot, especially when you're working on an active site, isn't it?
True. And you can imagine even sitting in project meetings where you are having now all these engineering jargons.
The ones being thrown left, right, and center.
Yes. Unless you are an engineer, you might end up floating or getting lost in such meetings. But now with an engineering background, it becomes very easy. So I would say it's advantageous. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And are there any current or recent trends that you see taking shape or coming up in HSE?
True. Yeah. Yes. For example, and I would take this back from 4 years ago, when we had COVID. I believe that is the first time most people heard of things like PPEs. So that conversation began then, you know. And I've found that nowadays, if you check on the new tenders, BD documents, there is a whole section on health and safety specifications and requirement. Something was not there previously. So that is a new trend that is coming up, and everyone is now curious, like, hey, we only thought safety, it's all about a helmet and a reflector, but now there is a whole document. You need a whole list of documents before you can be qualified to tender for a project. You know, so that's a new trend that is coming up. There is that appreciation of health and safety, and the way it is moving, I foresee, like, moving forward, it's not all about a contractor competency, the technical competency. We'll be now moving to health and safety. You need to first of all tick that box before
anything else.
Yes.
So basically, what you're saying that there's an uptick. Rather, more and more people are starting to appreciate health and safety, and you're getting to see more seriousness being taken as far as health and safety is concerned, and a lot of contractors and clients are now embracing it more. So has that in any way changed the statistics in terms of incidences and accidents on sites?
Yes, that has reduced the number of incidents. Another reason is with the new wave of social media, nowadays it's very hard for you to hide something as an individual or as an organization. Previously, you would have maybe an incident in a certain project, maybe even a fatality, but no one is aware. Because there is no way of sharing or the outside world knowing what is happening inside. But now, if there is a fatality in a certain project in this country, you know, 2 days you will see it. Yes, and this will come to the attentions of the relevant authorities. You know, they'll be there, they'll be there asking questions. So because of that exposure, because of that uptake, people are becoming now cautious. People are now embracing the health and safety protocols and procedures, and that has brought down the number of incidents. We are not yet there, but there is a positive trend.
So basically what I hear you saying is that there is an increase in uptake, but at the same time there is an increase in incident reporting. previously most of those incidences would go unreported or would slide or be swept under the rug, but now because of social media and whatnot, you have more incidences being reported, which of course is advantageous.
Yeah. And if you are keen on the media, you will see on the news, you will see old retired workers coming to sue organization they were working for so many years back. You know, that shows you back then they were not able to raise those concerns. They were not empowered enough, or they were not empowered enough to know their rights when it comes to health and safety. But nowadays, it's very, you know, it's not possible for someone to get injured and that is, you know, swept under the carpet.
So these new trends that you are seeing, how do you see them affecting the industry in the next 5 to 10 years? Is there a way that you see HSC evolving in the next couple of years, 5 to 10 years?
Yes. Specifically in Kenya or in Africa, you know, as we keep saying now, the world is becoming a global village. Whatever is happening in Europe and the Western countries now is finding its way in Africa as well. Now, with these new trends, with this new exposure, with social media, there is a lot of information now. So it's very easy for a worker to know about their rights and everything. It's very easy for organizations now to understand what they need to do when it comes to health and safety. So, as I said, now that health and safety has found itself in the tender documents, the second stage I expect will be now on the project compliance. We'll move from the paper compliance to the project compliance. On ground. So we expect these things will keep evolving to the good, of course. So, and the number of incidents will reduce, will significantly reduce, because they are still high now. But we expect with this new information, with this new uptake of health and safety, with most universities in Kenya now introducing the health and safety courses and curriculums, we expect we'll have more equipped health and safety officer, more empowered workers, more informed organizations. And with that, we expect the number of incidents are going to go down.
It's interesting because I've just remembered the other day I was checking a project in my village in Shags, and for the first time I was seeing people are wearing reflective vests in a site in Ushago, you know, deep in the bush, places where people used to wear sandals when mixing concrete. You see guys now wearing proper shoes, you know. So basically the uptake is trickling out of the urban areas and now moving even into the villages. So any construction site, there is some bit of safety that is now creeping and starting to, you know. And more and more contractors, I believe, are now embracing safety because I think most of them, I don't know, there's the fear of being sued. Just like you said, there's an empowerment of the employees. Most of them now know their rights, they know the covers that they need to be under and whatnot. So you find most contractors now find it easier to comply, you know, than wait for an incident to happen and then they have to incur all that cost.
And you see now also with the counties, with the devolved government, so most of the services have been devolved now, and now they have been brought closer to Mwananchi. So same case with the departments responsible for health and safety, DOSH. So they have now county officers. So with county officers, they are able now to make those rounds, you know.
Villages,
so even the DOSH services are coming closer to the worker. And you know, for the government, they will always be biased towards the worker. So most of the time they will spend empowering the worker more than the organization, to be honest. And you see now they have their Twitter pages, their Facebook pages. So anyone with a smartphone, as you are doing your own scrolls, you will see Department of Occupational Safety and Health. And they will say, in case of an incident, report. You know, so So even the workers now are getting empowered. They are getting access to this information. Also, as we are here in Nairobi, you mentioned about shags. So we are able also to inform our brothers back there. If my neighbors back in Shags, they know that Anthony now works in health and safety. Okay, they will be curious. What does that involve? And I will take my time and explain to them, and they will be, so when we are doing Jengo here, we are supposed to have tell them yes, you're supposed to have that and that. So that's how that information now is getting to the workers. And you find moving forward, employers or organizations will not have an escape plan. They have to comply with health and safety. And actually, if you want to go big, like international, for example, the way in our organization, we want to be a leader in sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
For you to do that, health and safety has to be at the center of what you are doing. Yeah, because the bigger you are, the more attention you get.
Yeah, the more attention you attract.
Yeah, you attract. Okay, so in case of something, the media and all these other activists will be here because they want to understand what is happening in these organizations. Yes.
All right. Anthony, can you share with us a challenging situation? I'm sure you face these a lot, especially because you deal a lot with incidences and accidents on sites. Are there some that have stood out for you, situations that have challenged you, and probably how you overcame them?
Well, facing challenges, that's what we do.
That's part of your job description.
Yeah, finding solutions every day. But I'd like to talk about COVID. The reason why that stood out for me, that was my first year in Synergetic. So I'm new in the organization. So I'm here trying to establish those working relations, who is who is in charge of what. And then here comes COVID. And you're supposed now to advise the management and to advise the workers on the best way to handle the situation or the crisis. And the first thing we do is to allow our team to work from home. And we started getting the COVID cases. Our patient 0, our patient 1. So here we have projects. So project has to continue.
They need to run. Yeah.
They need to run.
Yeah, your staff need to be working.
Yes, and you are still new to the organization. Yeah.
Baptism by fire.
Yes, and everyone is looking up to you, including our clients.
Yeah.
Because we are supporting our clients, so they expect us to advise
them.
Yes.
And as Synergetic, we're expecting Anthony.
Yes. So you can imagine that situation. It was not an easy one, but with the help of the senior management, we agreed to set up a committee. Yeah. So this committee, we brought in all the key people in the organization. Everyone is key, but in terms of the situation. So we had a representative from admin because of the logistics. We need to move our people. In case someone is infected, how do we go about their isolation and quarantine? We had to bring in someone from finance such that if we have a need, we are able to access funds kind of immediately, not following the other protocols.
I remember there was a COVID fund that was set up.
Yes. We had senior management, we had our CEO, that time was technical director. He was part of that committee. We had the PMs, the project managers, because of the projects. So, and we used to meet like twice per week, and also on need basis. Once we have an exposure, once we have one of us, infected, So we were able to convene, discuss on how to go about that, and also our projects to make sure there is continuity in our project, making sure that we are supporting our teams while working from home. And that's how we were able now to manage that situation. Was it not for the committee, it would have been a very, very rough time for me, having been fairly less than 1 year, actually less than 1 year, only in the organization.
I can imagine you're still very new and fresh to this company, getting to know people, and all of a sudden, this heavy burden. Everyone is looking up to you, literally.
Yes. And back then, there used to be only Anthony in the department. I was a one man. So
one-man show.
Yes. Yes, I had no one to consult. But now, that is that time I really saw the power of networking, because at that time now I had to call my peers out there in other organizations. How are you handling this? Are you having such challenges and scenarios in your workplace? And I was able to get that help externally and also internally by the committee. Yeah,
it's very interesting that you mentioned you had peers that you're consulting, because in one of our previous episodes we had Grace from legal, and she mentioned as well that and she advised us to for professionals to look into that, having a group of peers, either people you went to campus with or people that you trust in the same field, that you can bounce ideas off of. You meet challenging situations and you always know there's someone. Like Ash was giving the example of, she's an expert in construction law. And if she finds a case of family law, she has someone. She won't turn down, but she has someone. If she wants someone who understands property, she has someone. And it's very interesting that it's come up in HSE as well, that it's good to have those peers, people that when you're facing challenges, you can always bounce ideas off of them.
Yeah. You can imagine even our case as an organization, we kind of handle all sort of projects. And as a safety officer, it's very rare that you have encountered all those projects previously. So what happens, if you give me a project maybe which is a first time for the organization or for myself, I know someone who is in that field, I'm in the safety professionals group, So if I have something, I know some senior guys, senior citizens who have been in this industry for some time.
For a while,
always consult. We have this new project. How different is it from these others? What are the key aspects I'm supposed to consider? And as Grace said, myself as well cannot turn down any project, because I know I can be able to get information out there. I remember something one of our lecturers told us. When we say years of experience, it doesn't necessarily mean that you know everything. What we normally look for is, do you know where to get information? You cannot keep all that information here. But if I ask you today, as an engineer, we need to design, a warehouse. As much as you have never designed a warehouse, you know where you can be able to get that information.
You know someone who's designed it.
Yes.
Or some standards you can refer to. You have some guidelines.
Yes. Yes, and you can be able to get those specifications and guidelines and standards, some online, some you procure. So that's what is called experience. You know where to get that information. Yes, and that is the beauty of now networking, having those peers, because the good thing with peers, they'll give you practical solutions. Yes, you can Google for maybe, for generic information, but with peers, you'll be going to someone who has already faced that situation, so they'll give you practical solutions. Yes.
I like what you've said, that years of experience is not about what projects you've worked on, but it also encompasses, do you know where to get information when you need it?
Yes.
You know, you may not have worked on a project, but you know someone who has.
Yes.
Wow, that is very profound. All right, so we've seen a recent trend and uptake in AI and machine learning. Has that in any way affected HSC? Have you found yourself in situations where you've had to consider it? How generally has AI and machine learning affected HSC?
Yes. I think just like any other profession, HSC as well has been impacted by AI, positively, of course, because nowadays you realize we even have apps. You know, initially everything was paperwork. When you want to have the permits to work, for example, you send a team to Turkana for a project. They have to do physical documents. Yeah. That's how it used to be. They have to do either physical documents before they leave here, so that you can approve them, or they will do them and then you will approve later, or you need to send a safety officer with them to approve. But now we have apps and softwares, you know, so you can have an app for each and every staff, for all the staff. So if they need to raise a permit, they just initiate it there, and I'll get a prompt to review and approve. And the team, you know, it's like remote working now, you know. So that has made work easier in a way, and removing the notion that safety is usually there to disrupt work. Some people used to feel that way. Yeah. Because in the morning before work, you have to be moving from one office to the other with some printed documents, someone to review them there, and they can say, no, repeat this one, and it's a printed document, you know? So, but now, with the software, it's very easy. You know, they'll be able to click, it's hot work I want to do, they'll click it hot work, they'll be given a breakdown of the precautions or the PPE they need or the measures they need, and they will just select. They just select, you know, so it's even friendly. It's friendly to the worker. And with that, we now getting more uptake. So AI technology is there. And we have not been left behind.
Yes. We've been left in the edges of paperwork.
We are moving from paperwork to paperless now. Yes.
And what would you say are the biggest challenges that are facing your field today?
Well, the first one is funding. Funding. There are some people out there who, until today, they have not understood why they should have a budget line for safety. Because when you see it, safety, it's not like a money-making department. Actually, we are sort of consumers.
Most people don't see it as an investment. They see it as a spending, and there's no way that money
Yes. So, and with that kind of mentality, and then now you put, you factor in the status or the state of our economy. So whenever there is the economy is not doing very well, so there is no cash flow. The first and the immediate casualty is health and safety. Why should we buy? So should we buy cement or reflectors?
Helmet.
You know. So when you argue that way,
sometimes they even buy very bad quality.
Yes. You know, it's all about cut cost. Because quality has already placed itself somewhere where it cannot be compromised. So it's very easy to compromise safety. You know, safety. So you find in most cases, health and safety will be struggling. You know, it's not well funded. That is one. Two, you might find an organization, the funding is there, but it's like the organization does not really understand why health and safety. it's not getting that priority.
There's no buy-in.
Yeah, there's no buy-in from the senior management, and when that happens, because safety is top-down, it has to start from the top.
Yeah.
So whenever there is no buy-in from the top guys there, huku chini, it's chaos, So you find if you are a health and safety officer for such a project or an organization, you'll be placed there to count number of incidents. That basically your work.
Yeah.
We had 10 first aid cases, we had 5. It's all about counting,
Yeah. You're basically a statistician.
Yeah. Yes. So those are the two challenges, and not most organizations have that buy-in in terms of health and safety. So that is a challenge that we are facing in the industry. And now the funding I've mentioned, though mostly they go hand in hand. Whenever there is no buy-in, there is no funding.
Very likely the funding is not there.
Yes. Yeah. And now when you come to the regulatory departments, still they are not well empowered. As I told you, DOSH is supposed to have like a safety officer for each and every county. So you'll find sometimes some counties share an officer, So it will be very difficult for such an officer to move around the whole county, understand all the workplaces that are there, support the employer, support the workers. So it's a challenge. And whenever there is no regulations or that enforcement, some organizations take advantage of that. So they are not compliant because no one is checking. Yeah, so those are some of the challenges.
Yeah, it's very interesting when you mention that, because most of us, when we think matters HSE, we think of an active site. But then it's good to also realize that even an office is a working environment.
Yeah.
So this safety officer is supposed to be moving in each and every office.
Yes.
Each and every place where people are working, and businesses.
Yes.
So you can imagine one person doing that for 2 counties.
Yes. Both formal and informal. Even the juakaris, you're supposed to have the records of all those, workplaces.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that the workers are trained on first aid, they have registered. It's not very possible for one safety officer to move around across 2 counties.
Yeah.
Even one.
Yeah, even one is, I can imagine Nairobi.
Yes.
Nairobi should have a number of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You should have a number of safety officers. You can't have just one. Interesting. So basically the problems are 2-pronged. That is funding, and then of course there's the aspect of buy-in. You don't have, and I like the fact that you say that it's a top-down effect. If the people at the top do not have buy-in, it's very difficult for mid-level or bottom people at the bottom to buy in. But if the people at the top take safety very seriously, it trickles down to everyone.
It becomes very easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually safety is very easy. Safety management is very easy. It's one of those fields where when you have the systems working, the rest just flow. And actually, I keep wondering why organizations don't see it that way. If you don't empower the safety officers, if you don't empower your workers, you will keep having incident today. The client is complaining. There is all these back and forth. But once you have the systems working, it becomes very easy. It becomes very easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be safe to say that investing in safety is like buying an insurance cover?
Yeah.
That you might not necessarily see a return on investment directly, but the fact that you have adopted safety features prevents you from making losses in case of incidences.
Yeah.
So it might not be that you're investing to make profit, but it's covering you against losses.
Good.
The compensation that I've had to pay workers, the time that your workers are going to be off work and you're paying them, those are losses. to your organization. So by implementing safety protocol, you're basically in a way taking a cover against potential losses. Isn't it?
And we normally say it's like sealing your basket, you know, such that once you put your revenues there, your revenue is not going to...
There are no seepages.
Yeah, no seepages, you know, it's not going to... But also, you know, when you think about health and safety, I keep saying during inductions, I tell my colleagues, it's so easy to sit down and start talking about numbers of injured workers. When you put it that way, you know, it just looks like numbers. 2 casuals were injured, you know, a fall from height. We had 1 fall from height. We had 1 LTI. You know, it looks like just numbers.
But very casual.
It's good to put face and name to these numbers. These are human beings we are talking about. When you say fall from height, that's someone who fell.
Someone's dad, someone's brother.
Yes, correct.
Breadwinner.
Yes.
Is no longer able to.
Yes. So once you see it from that angle, from that moral angle, that moral obligation, now you start taking it serious, you know? So if you are team lead, you know, it's not all about the quality, it's not all about the time. You should be giving us. I started this work with 10 female, 10 male. I've accomplished the work with the 10 male, 10 female without a scratch. That's what success looks like. It's not all about commissioning a project, you know. We need to know who are the people. And multinationals, they are very keen on this one. They are very keen on this one. So even if I'm renting your space, I need to know what are the safety statistics during construction. You know?
Oh, really?
Yes. Because we keep saying what we need in a project is people's sweat, not blood. So if I know someone shed blood on this project, hey, my friend, no, I don't. Sijui ni damu ina gani ilimwagika, so so unless so anyway, so some organizations are very serious when it comes to health and safety. And as I said, on the new threads, if you check on our proposed projects, on the tender documents, there is a whole list of the health and safety specifications. And that is the first step. If you don't jump that, there's no way you can proceed.
You have to pass that.
Yes, you have to pass that. And furthermore, we are majoring in oil and gas and construction. Those industries,
high risk.
They are high risk, and you cannot afford to compromise on health and safety. Yes.
Interesting. Especially, I found it very interesting. You've mentioned about records. That there are some organizations that will not work with you based on your HSE record. So basically that also means that you need to have a good record of HSE. They won't just focus on the project we are giving you. What aspects do you have? They'll also look at your history in terms of HSE. How many incidences have you had in your past projects? How many accidents, for example, have you had in previous projects?
Because when it comes to competency, technical competency, most people can be able to do it. Most contractors can build, you know, they can build. That one they can do. Even the fundis back Ushago, they can do it. So the difference is now, the difference comes in now on these other aspects, the quality, the health and safety. And that's why if you check organizations that are in the export business, majorly in Europe and you know, the USA there, you realize they are very keen on health and safety. Because an incident here, if you raise a complaint here, you can write directly to their clients, you know, and that can make a contract even to be cancelled. So there are those organizations which are very keen on health and safety.
Okay.
Yes, and that's why we can't afford to compromise on health and safety.
Could you please tell us about the HSE department at Synergetic? What does it entail? What do you guys do? How does a typical day look like? Yeah.
Okay. I'm the team lead. So I have a team of 6 safety officers and 6 safety watchers. So in total we are 13. 13 of us. So basically what happens, the 6 safety officers and the watchers, they are project based because we are a project company. So we make sure that each and every project we have a safety officer supported by the watchers. Okay. So our work is to make sure that first of all we are compliant. 2, our workforce is not getting injured, or they are not endangered or at risk because of the work we do. Because as we said, our industry is a high risk. Okay, so we need to be very careful. We need to have safety officers to support the contractors, to guide the contractors, and to enforce, because sometimes it's very important to enforce. Yes. So on a typical day, now, because we have a number of projects, so each project have its own challenges, because projects are dynamic. Okay, so each day there will be a challenge here, and some of the challenges the safety officers are able to sort them out in-house or within their projects. But some of the challenges they need to escalate to myself now. So my day entails, first of all, making sure that I'm able to resolve the challenges or problems that has been escalated by the safety officers. If there are those that will require senior management support, I take them, escalate to senior management. And those that I'm able to resolve, I'm able to resolve. Okay. I'm also kind of the face of the department. So because we want our officers to have ample time in their projects, I kind of attend most of the meetings. Yeah, corporate meetings where we are discussing about corporate initiatives. You know, I'm also actively supporting the commercial and the BD team. Because as I mentioned, nowadays new projects, they have a list of HSE requirements. Yeah, they need all this documentation, they need this and that. So that's what I do. And also I'm in charge of the overall compliance of projects and the organization. Remember, Synergetic is a group of companies. So I'm tasked with making sure that all the entities, all the companies are compliant with the relevant regulations. I'm also in touch with external stakeholders, including DOSH and NEMA. Yes.
Yes. So basically the point of contact between Synergetic and all these regulators and client as far as safety is concerned.
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned you have a number of managerial responsibilities and leadership aspects to your role. How do you balance the technical aspects of your job? You have to be on site to check ABCD, but at the same time you need to do some leadership responsibilities. How do you balance those two?
Well, proper planning, first of all. So I'll just be very realistic. What I normally do, I list down what needs to be done, for a particular day or a week. Let me work with a week. I know there is this proposed project that we need to deliver ABCD. We have a site visit here. We have this project with these issues. We have these meetings that need to be attended. We have this corporate initiative that needs to be attended. We have the HSE committee that has its own initiative. So once I list those down, I'm able to tick those which I can delegate to my team. Okay, so if it's something that is project based, I'm able to discuss with my team. It's something, if I can be able to offer support remotely and they are able to address that, that's what I normally do. And also collaboration. Yeah, I don't do this alone. I just mentioned we have a health and safety committee. So for example, something like reviewing the policies. So you realize I don't do it alone. So now there is a committee. The committee can, come in and support me in coming with the policies. If we need to do workplace inspections, we have now a committee to work with. Yes. So collaboration and delegation and proper planning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Collaboration, delegation, and proper planning. Wow, interesting. And how do you envision your legacy as a HSE officer? Is there a legacy that you want to leave behind when all is said and done? Is there that one thing that you want to be remembered by?
Yes. First of all, I don't want to ever encounter a major LTI or fatality. First of all, my legacy.
Haven't encountered so far.
Yeah. LTI, not very major. Fatality, no. Yeah.
What's an LTI? For those
lost time injury. This is an injury that will keep a worker out of work for a period of more than 3 days. Yes, like we are losing time because of an injury.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So those you're saying you've encountered.
I've encountered. Yeah. But for all those, none has led to permanent disablement. Yes. So basically, when I look at myself at Synergetic, my highlight has been developing the health and safety department, growing from myself to a team of 13.
Yeah. And not forgetting the various committees and all these groups that are working around HSE.
And a health and safety committee of 10 of us, So basically it's bringing health and safety to the picture. If you go maybe 10 years, you'll find maybe safety was not very prominent. So I want to be part of that team. As we said, there is this awakening, there is this awakening on health and safety. So I want to be part of that team that will bring health and safety to the picture, to the boardroom, Like we can sit down and start with a safety moment. Safety can be given that priority. Like a meeting is convening and there has to be a safety officer present, So my legacy would be for Synergetic, for Synergetic is to make sure that health and safety has the same priority as quality, in all our projects. Yes.
All right. And have you had any memorable moments so far in HSE that you could share with us?
Yeah, well, yeah.
At least we know for sure it wasn't a fatality. And I think also congratulations, for a HSE officer, having not encountered such a serious incident means that you're actually doing something right, isn't it?
Yeah. Memorable moments. We're in project scope. So basically we are kind of engineers. So we engineer things. So it's very fulfilling when we are seated here discussing about a proposed project. And my responsibility is to talk about the safety in that project for the workers who will be working there. And then we move to execution and no one is injured. We complete the project, we deliver to the client. That is fulfilling, because in a way, in a way I see safety, we support the contractors. We want them to do their work and to make sure that the workers are safe. They are not injured. So if we have 300 workers here in this project, we want to make sure at the end of this project, all these 300 workers, they have gone back home or to wherever they came from, they come from, with all their body parts, intact, with all their health system intact, not compromised by what they were doing. The only thing we want them to take from us is, of course, the money, the wages, the income, and experience and exposure. Okay, and we also make sure that we train and empower them. So even when they go to other projects, they are not just taking the technical experience, even health and safety. Any worker who has worked with Synergetic, you realize they are aware of health and safety. Yes, so there will be a different worker and a good worker to the next employer. Yes, so my memorable moments is seeing us deliver projects, and we can comfortably,
all the way to handing over.
Yes, and for projects as we are handing over, we normally have a health and safety report for that project. So it's very fulfilling when you're giving a report with zero fatality, zero. Yes, like we did this and no one was injured.
Wow. If you could work on any project in the world as a HSE officer, what project would it be?
There are many. Actually, I don't have to go very far. Kenya is scheduled to build its first nuclear power plant from 2027. I see that as a very, very good project because one, in terms of safety, nuclear power plant project, that is a project where you have to bring your A game.
Yeah, that's another whole level of safety, eh?
Yes. So that's I would like to be involved in such a project. And also second, this would be the first power plant in Kenya. In Africa, commercially we only have South Africa commercially. So you can imagine now Kenya.
Even Nigeria with the big egos, they don't have
power plant. Commercially is only I see. So you can imagine now Kenya, So that would be a very, very good project. So I'm hoping Synergetic will get a good stake in that project. Because I believe we have the capacity.
We should have the capacity.
We go and showcase our skills there.
Wow.
So that's the project.
Very interesting. You've got excuses flowing. I also think I'd want to. But you said 2027?
Yes.
How many years do we have to prepare? 3 years.
3 years. Yes.
3 years to prepare for it. 3 years is more than enough time.
And you need to run for 10 years. Construction.
Wow.
So you can imagine. So that would be a very, very good project.
I think if I get into it, by the time the project is getting done, you should be retired.
Yes. And that's a legacy project. It will be a legacy project. So that's it.
Have they identified a location for it?
Kwale Kilifi.
I need to look into that. And find a way to be part of that with Synergetic. So, do you have any hobbies? And how does it affect your role as a HSE officer?
Well, first of all, health and safety, sometimes it's like a 24 hours job. Sometimes even on Saturday.
You're not trying to say that HSE is your hobby.
Not quite, but yes. So to detach, I normally do outdoor activities. To be specific, jogging and hiking. Yes, trying to connect with nature, and also to appreciate nature, sort of uninterrupted nature. When you are hiking on those mountains and you see those, virgin lands, they have not been severized or interfered with. So you are able to detach from the hectic Nairobi and the other cities. So that's what I enjoy doing. I'm not an indoor person, so I'd rather walk, jog, or even drive somewhere.
And from what you're describing, is not your typical Ngong Hills or Karura Forest. Have you done any interesting hikes?
Yes. I think I've done the. Is it the biggest in Kenya? I've hiked Mount Kenya. I've summited Mount Kenya.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
and also now the small ones.
By small ones, you mean Satima,
Yeah, the Satimas, the Ngong, the Gonot, the Kilimambogo.
Kiburi, because it's one fan was Kina Satima and Panfila.
These are small ones. Once you do Kilimanjaro, it's the second highest in Africa.
Kilimanjaro is the highest. Mount Kenya is the second.
No, sorry, I meant Mount Kenya.
Yeah,
So
Mount Kenya is the
once you do Mount Kenya, you can only do Kilimanjaro. The rest are hills.
There is one called Mount Kinangop. Look into it. It's allegedly it's the toughest. Yeah, it's the toughest because it requires a lot of endurance and you have to do it in a day.
Okay.
Mount Kenya is a bit spread out. Not that Mount Kenya is not tough, but it's a bit spread out. We are digressing.
No, it's okay. I was still on the same, just to feed all to add into my hobby. I normally watch hiking documentaries.
Something shame.
Yeah, and something I learned is the highest is Mount Everest.
Yeah.
But the toughest is K2.
It's K2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's K2. So something I learned.
Wow. Interesting. I didn't know you love hiking.
Yeah. That's my thing.
We need to have coffee and chat about hiking and
planning. No, for hiking you don't have coffee.
You actually go on a hike.
Yeah. We do a hike and catch up.
So we need to do a hike together.
Yeah.
All right. So even as we start concluding, what piece of advice would you give to someone who's considering a career in HSC or someone who's just starting out, just graduated there, now starting out as in the field of HSC? What piece of advice would you give them?
Well, it's a promising field, very promising. Kenya is a developing country, so we are developing, so we are building. So in quotes, we are building it. We are building the nation now. So and for all those projects, there has to be health and safety. So in terms of employment, first of all, it's promising. They should not worry about that. But it's not a field for the lazy ones, because you realize what you learn in school is not all inclusive, or it's not exclusive. You need to do a lot of reading. You need to network. You need to have peers, those connections with peers who are working in different projects. You realize it's a field where if you are that kind of a person who want to be loved by everyone, you will face it rough. Yeah, because you will be disrupting people's way of doing things, the natural way of doing things. And now you are introducing another system. So you need to be a person who is firm, not tough, but firm. You need to be firm. You can be friendly, yes, but when something needs to be done, it has to be done. So you need to be firm. You need to be hardworking because you need to do a lot of research. You need to read projects, and not just projects. Health and safety itself, it's very demanding because whenever people are working, you need to be there. If there is a night shift, you need to be there. You have to be there. So you need to be very hardworking. You need to be someone who is flexible. You are flexible because our work is very dynamic. Yes, I think with those, you can be able to manage in this field.
Yeah, you need to be firm and you need to
Hardworking.
seek after knowledge.
Yes.
Basically, you can't fully rely on what you learn in school.
True.
Isn't it? You need to be someone who actively seeks out.
Yeah, and also just to add, you see now we are governed by local regulations. So that tells you when you cross over to Tanzania, they have different set of regulations. Uganda the same. DRC the same. So if you want to go to Qatar, to Asia, they have the yes as well. So you need to read about all this. Yeah.
And any parting shots? How do you probably describe your time at Synergetic? How has it been?
Well, I think I've been fortunate, let me just put it that way, to be working with Synergetic because health and safety is a core value. That shows you the seriousness, from the senior management when it comes to health and safety. Okay, so the management has been very supportive, and because of that, we have had a buy-in from the workers and our contractors. So you find we are getting the support whenever there is a challenge. You have the senior management addressing them in real time. We have a health and safety committee, which have been very key in supporting or cultivating a safety culture, positive safety culture in the organization. And the chairperson of this committee is our COO, So that is senior management sitting in our committee. So if we have any issue, that will need to be addressed.
Yeah, and escalated.
Yes, we have part of the senior management sitting with us, so we are able to get solutions real time. If it's a case of funding, if I need to present my budgets and require and needs, we have that direct line to senior management. So we are able to get that monetary support or financial support and allocations for our project. And because of this, that's why I told you, I've been very fortunate. We have not had any major incident. Because once now you have support from senior management, once you have now funding, buy-in from the workers, you are good to go. Another thing is, as I told you, I began as one. Now I have a team of 13. That is part of empowerment. The management is making sure that for each and every project, we have a safety officer. So this is like devolution. It's like bringing closer that service to the worker, to the projects. So, just to sum it up, I would say I've had a good tenure so far, so good in Synergetic in terms of health and safety. Even getting this chance and this forum, it's such a forum to talk about health and safety. That confirms what I was saying in terms of that support. You have been given time to sensitize, to raise awareness when it comes to health and safety.
So basically there's a support system that is existing, and like you mentioned earlier, the top-down embrace of HSE is actually there.
Yeah.
All from senior management, there is an uptake and full embrace of HSE, and makes it easier even for us huko chini.
True. Yeah. And it's evident, you know, even when we had the incident, though minor, you realize the senior management wants to know what happens, what happened, and what needs to be done to make sure that we don't have such reoccurring again or a similar incident. So that shows you, the support system is there all the way from top to bottom.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Asante. I think that's it. Asante sana Bwana Anthony for availing yourself, for creating time to speak to us on matters HSE. But before we end, one last question. Hii kiburi ya kwa prefect kwa site mnatoanga wapi? That mnafurahianga tu mkionekana watu wanadisperse. Watu wako lunch break wamekaa wametulia, wakiona Anthony ndio anakuja, everyone anadisperse. Do you guys feel nice when people disperse when they see you on site?
People have turned us to police. Like, you know, well, it's because, as I told you, sometimes you need to be firm. Sometimes you need to be firm for people to change their way of doing things. Okay, one is awareness. You know, you train them, but you know human nature. If we don't have a policeman there, traffic, where we have that light, the roundabouts and traffic lights, people tend to just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So they need to see a policeman there, and everyone is now behaving. So that is somehow the case at site. It's not like we are happy when that happens. I'm not really sure. I think we are used to it. Yeah, but we are trying to raise awareness.
To change the narrative.
Yeah. You don't have to run away from health and safety.
Yeah.
We are here for you, because of you, actually. I keep telling workers, actually, the person you're supposed to love the most in a project is the health and safety officer. Your supervisor is here to look, you know, like on what you're doing. Work is here because of work. You know, you are painting quality, all those things. It's only the safety officer who is there because of you, just to make sure you are not injured. You know, so when I tell you stop whatever you are doing,
it's because of your interest.
Yeah, I'm not just exercising my power, like I can stop you from doing work, but I'm doing that because I've seen you could be injured, you could get in trouble, you know, if you continue with whatever you are doing. You know, so if you see a safety officer, you should feel happy.
Yeah,
you should feel happy. You should feel secure.
Yeah,
you should feel secure. And we tell our workers, you should get to a level where you can refuse to work on safety, you know, grounds.
Yeah.
And say, for me to continue or proceed, I need the safety officer to come and assure me that it's okay, it's safe to do whatever I'm doing. You know, when a worker gets to that level, that they know, you know, the safety officer is working for my benefit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we don't enjoy when
people scatter.
We want them to...
people look busy when they see you coming.
Or they start adjusting their helmets.
Yeah. And checking their harnesses.
Yes. But basically, we have different levels when it comes to compliance. So we are getting there.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing you say is that if people just adhere to safety, they won't have to quote unquote scatter. They won't have to adjust their helmets. If the helmet was already worn properly, when you see Anthony, you don't have to adjust it. Isn't it?
Yeah.
If your harness, if everything you're doing, you're sitting very well in your seat in the office, when you see Anthony, you know for sure he won't ask you to change your posture.
Yeah.
So if we do it correct, the first time. You don't have to fear the HSE and safety officers who come to site and to the office.
Yeah.
Again, asante sana for making time, and all the best. Thanks for the wonderful work that you're doing in the HSE department, and all the best.
Thank you for having me, for having this conversation. Yes, I'm sure someone out there will see and and change their ways and stop running away from the health and safety officers.
Amen to that.
Yes.
All right. Asanteni sana. That's it for this episode of the Pipeline Podcast. See you.